My name is Jeremy Devins, and this is the Quiet Mind Astrology Podcast and the monthly horoscope for July 2024. If you want to know how this affects you personally, get your free birth chart at quietmindastrology.com. You can get your free Vedic astrology, Jyotish birth chart, and see where your rising and moon sign are. And whenever I talk about planets and signs transiting, it's as if that planet is moving over that sign in your chart. So, how to make sense of that is on the free training that comes with the free chart at quietmindastrology.com. And you'll also be added to my weekly Friday forecast where I send out the updates and the major transits happening each week. So you know how to work with them for yourself and see like my interpretations based on all my experience looking at thousands of charts and doing this for many years to see where things land and how they make sense for you. So quietmindastrology.com for all that. And I'll just share a little personal update, and then we'll get into the major transits happening this week or these coming weeks over this month. So I actually just was going back through all my notes. I mentioned this recently, doing this big sort of purging process, and I was reading through my notes from my first Vedic astrology reading, also my first Western astrology reading too. So just reading through that, like I took very detailed notes. I lost the recording. I listened to the recording many times, but I lost that over the years. But I took very detailed notes of the recording. And what stood out to me, like reading it back, was how much I was on the trail of alignment for me and on the trail of like who I am, but doubting it and like, yeah, I think this is it, but maybe I should go that way. Maybe I should do this. Maybe I'm not doing the right thing. And I've been doing a lot of readings in the last several weeks and hearing a similar thing from clients. And maybe you listening, you've experienced this or might be experiencing it now of like, I have this sense I'm on the right track, but am I really? And is this really the right way? So, astrology is one of the great resources to help us clarify and decide and know like, yeah, this is the direction. The signs are pointing this way. The green lights are here. Definitely go this way or definitely don't go that way. So knowing your own chart is a great resource to know this. And there's a lot of little choices I was making in this time in my early 20s of like, is this the right path? What about this? What about that? And I really needed to explore at that time and try different things. And the advice I was given was like so valuable to me. So it's very personal. I don't need to get into all the details now. It won't apply to everyone else. But essentially, it was like, yeah, you're on the right track, but what about exploring this a little more? And maybe you don't need to explore that so much. And that felt very aligned and like validating and clarifying for me. And essentially, I'm super grateful for the whole guidance and the experience that I had with that reading, and it was a big catalyst for me to want to learn as much as I can about astrology and share that with others. So, if you've had a reading in the past, I think it's good to revisit that regularly. If you're having some sort of doubts about the path you're on, it might be good to check in with your astrology here on the podcast or just looking at your own chart and piecing it together with some of the other past lessons I've given. If you've taken my 101 course, I show you how to decode your chart and how to do all that. And if you got a reading coming up, then it's good to explore like what is really alive in you now and what you're wanting to explore. So personally, me, I'm just feeling really good and clear, and it feels great to have like purged through all those notes and get a really clear sense of like what I've got in all of the things I'm doing. It's my next Vedic astrology mentorship class starting soon and clarifying all the notes around that and all the testimonials and feedback I've received from past students, the amazing results people have had, and just all of the things I still want to add. Like I'm always adding to that, and everybody who joins gets access to all the future updates too. So that's very exciting for me and get to nerd out about astrology all the time. So if you're wanting to nerd out about astrology and learn more about yourself and others and go really deep on this path, then the mentorship program is the most in-depth thing that I offer. And that will be coming up starting in August. So more details coming soon and more special free things to work with me and get a feel for the mentorship and me to share some more of my favorite resources with you over the next several weeks. So that's coming up soon. So what also is coming up soon are the transits for July. So we have 8 major transits to talk about for July, starting with the new moon in Punarvasu in Gemini on July 5th, Friday, as I'm recording this. So Punarvasu is the return of the light. It's bringing in the sense of hopefulness and optimism after the energy of Ardra, which is about destruction in some ways, similar to we just had the full moon over there in Mula and the deity Nritti associated with that, the deity of destruction and loss. So there's some necessary deconstruction happening in our lives right now. And as we begin this new Punarvasu moon on July 5th, it's an opportunity to begin a new path in life, a renewal of hope and faith and optimism to go in a new direction. Wonderful time for setting new intentions. We just passed the solstice as well. So we're now in the new 6-month journey towards the next solstice. And this is a time in the northern hemisphere descending, going within, going internal as planets start to go retrograde now. We got Saturn, Pluto, and Neptune retrograde. More to come. Jupiter's going to retrograde later on in the year. Mars is going to retrograde in December. So Mercury is going to retrograde next month. So we're moving in that direction to go more internal and reflective. And now with the new moon in Punarvasu, that is not a bad thing at all. It's like a opportunity to learn and grow from within. So wonderful time for exploring ideas, thoughts, beliefs that you've had in the past. And Gemini is this intellectual energy. So reviewing books and ideas that you've had that you want to go deeper with is great at this time. Around the new moon, so around the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, that weekend is a good time to do this kind of work, set intentions for the month and really for the 6 months into the next solstice. Also on July 5th, Rahu moves into Uttarabhadra out of Revati Nakshatra. So Rahu is in the last nakshatra of the 27, and the nakshatras are the lunar mansions, the smaller divisions of the sky associated with the moon cycle of 27 days, 27 nakshatras, which is more precise and something that makes Vedic astrology, Jyotish, so much more precise in predictions. And when Rahu moves into Uttarabhadra for 8 months, roughly, about 7 to 8 months, a little past 7 months, and it's just under 8 months from July 5th until February 2025, the end of February. That energy of Rahu, that passion, that drive, obsessive energy into Uttarabhadra is a very transformative energy, very associated with the Kundalini energy of awakening latent potential. It's a wonderful time over these 8 months to awaken latent potential, to do esoteric, deep work, tantric work, Kundalini work, awaken the energy centers in your body, awaken awareness of patterns that you've had, journaling practices, meditation, therapy, coaching, astrology. These things all help awaken awareness. And this is a wonderful time to be doing energy work, energy healing, energy yogic practices. I recently, in the yoga mentorship that I offer, we did a Kundalini practice together, which is something I trained in for many years. I taught Kundalini yoga for many years. And that practice awakens the energy centers. It awakens your awareness of energy. It awakens the nadis, the channels of energy in the body. You can know they're awakened when you have clear breathing through both nostrils, not getting clogged regularly, when you have clear thinking and perception, when you see patterns quickly, when somebody brings a problem to you, you see the underlying issue very quickly, when you don't feel stuck in decision making, when you feel like spontaneous in flow and rhythm, like you're moving through life kind of like a dance, like an improvised dance. So those are all signs when this energy is working well. When it's not working well, we have delusions, disillusionment, despair. We get obsessed about things. We get addicted to things that we think are going to change our state. And anytime we think, if that, then I will feel happy. If I had more money, then I would feel happy. If this person liked me, then I would feel happy. You've given away your power to that thing. but the power comes from within. And here's a trick that I know like 90% people listening will probably not really apply this because it might be listening on the go or whatever. But I actually know a lot of you listening are very deep students and practitioners of this kind of work. So highly recommend, maybe more like hopefully 50% of you will apply this. But do this journaling practice. If there is anything that you feel like you just wish I had more money, I just wish I had this relationship, I just wish I had this job, I just wish that my child would listen to me, I just wish whatever the thing is, that thing, if you had it, let's say you do get the money, you do get the job, you do get the relationship, you do have the relationship with the child, whatever the thing is, how would that make you feel? Right. So if I got it, then I would feel blank and I would be blank. I would feel happy. I would be more relaxed. I would do blank. So I would be, have, and do blank if I had the thing. I would have more spaciousness. I would have this thing I want to buy. I would have time to go on vacation. I would have whatever the thing is for you. You have given your power to that thing. Let's say it's a relationship. Like this person would just take me back, then I would feel relief. And I feel like maybe that's the one, that's the person. So until they do choose you, or if they don't choose you, you're just hanging on their choice, and your power is now in their hands, and you're disempowered. And they could choose you and you feel powerful and great and happy and good again, and then they could not choose you suddenly, and then now the rug is pulled out from underneath you. You could get the job, feel elated, suddenly you're let go, you feel totally ruined. So either way, in those scenarios, you've given your power to that thing. And the magic is, if you look at what it's getting, what you think you're going to get from that thing, you get the job, then you'll be relaxed, happy, peaceful, have time for yourself. Do those things now, be those things now, have those things now within reason. Obviously, if you want $1 million to buy a mansion, you can't just have the mansion without buying it. So some of these, yes, there's a reasonability here, but underneath that, what does the mansion give you? Then it gives me spaciousness, freedom, choice. Well, you can find spaciousness, freedom, and choice without money. You don't need a mansion to provide that. You don't need a relationship to provide that. You can have those things now. So I can't over explain how valuable this kind of work has been for me and my own growth and people I've worked with. But that's the kind of work of Rahu and Uttarabhadra, to get underneath the desire and the yearning and the longing and the passion, you need this thing, to what is that thing really giving you? And you can probably, I would actually say, I think I could say always give that thing to yourself. If you get to the root of it, right? You can't give yourself the mansion, but you can give yourself what you think the mansion will give you. Or you can't give yourself a relationship. You can't make someone fall in love with you, but you can give yourself what you think falling in love with them will give you, which might be love, joy, affection. You can create those things within. You can love yourself, be affectionate to yourself, get massage, get self-care, go to a spa, do yoga practices, light candles. You can do things for yourself that will are what you think you're going to get from that thing. And now you're in the place of choice and freedom. And if that thing comes, great. If it doesn't come, great. You don't lose your power to it. Rahu and Uttarabhadra is a lot about this awareness of where your power is. And if it's anything external, it's going to be a very painful transit and a very sobering transit, or a very much a blur where you get totally swept up in the addiction. So there's an opportunity to get free here where now it's a choice. I'm choosing this person. Maybe they'll choose me too. Maybe not. Either way, I can find peace in myself. I'm choosing to pursue this career. Maybe that career will choose me, maybe not. Either way, I'm free in my choice. And if it's not that, then I'll find something better. And having that mindset. from July 5th to February 25th, 2025. Next big transit is on July 6th. Venus moves into Cancer. Venus, the planet of love, beauty, grace, art, in Cancer, our emotional expression. And we'll talk about the nakshatras in the coming episodes, going deeper into being in Punarvasu, then Pushya, and all that. But essentially, Venus in Cancer is a time to connect to our emotions in relationship and in artistic expression. Wonderful time for listening to music that you love, exploring, experiencing art that you love, movies that make you feel something, music that makes you feel something, dancing, singing, playing, creating art, drawing, getting in your garden, making your garden beautiful, making your home more aesthetically pleasing, and staying connected to your emotional expression through these things. And I find for me, art has been one of the greatest ways to just figure out what I'm feeling. For me, it's a little harder to access my emotions, not for everybody. So, art is a great way to access your emotions. Music, this can be a great way. And through your relationships, opening up emotionally. And this time is very favorable for 24 days from July 6th. On July 12th, Mars moves on into Taurus. Mars being in its own sign for the last month in Aries, bringing this passion, drive, and ambition until July 12th. Mars in Taurus is in a friendly sign with a friendly planet of Jupiter, bringing this action and drive into our learning, wisdom, and abundance of Jupiter, into the stability, grounding of Taurus. So, this is a wonderful time for also gardening, improving your home, taking care of your finances, and finding abundance and prosperity in your life, new opportunities to learn and grow, working with teachers and mentors that you are inspired by. Jupiter is the guru, the mentor, the guide. Mars, the ability to take action and get stuff done. Wonderful time for learning and growing and taking action to improve your finances and your material needs for 7 weeks from July 12th. July 15th, Sun moves into Cancer for 31 days. And Sun, the spotlight, the big ball of fire in the sky, into the emotional realm of Cancer. So it's a time where we can find vitality and energy through expressing our emotions. Joining up with Venus and Mercury here is just wonderful for any sort of artistic expression, singing, music, movies, entertainment, dance, just really powerful time. If you're into any sort of artistic expression or dance, this is just awesome for that. And also, the sun here represents our authority, where we have authority, where we work with authorities. So, connecting on a more emotional level, if you're in some sort of leadership position or working with a leader, to connect emotionally, to connect in a way where you share a little bit more. And often in like the workplace or in leadership positions, there's not as much emotionality, but this is a time where you can connect on that deeper level. And sun also represents our creative energy. So just really positive here to express ourselves more, to be more emotionally expressive, more honest, more in integrity, more authentic in anything that we create in the world. Then on July 19th, Mercury moves into Leo for extended period because it's going to go retrograde in August. So Mercury goes into Leo for 33 days, counting the retrograde. Mercury, the planet of intelligence, communication, friendships, in Leo, ruled by the sun, this exciting, passionate energy. So Mercury is in a friendly dignity here in Leo, and a good time for making friends, being more sociable, being more extroverted, getting out. In the northern hemisphere, this is the summertime, so it makes a lot of sense to do more social activities and connect with people and put yourself out there more. If you're into any sort of self promotion, marketing, business, good time for that as well. And sharing your ideas more clearly with the world. For 33 days, it's going to go forward, then back. So as you begin these things, these are some things that you might need to revisit later into August and really throughout all of August as it's going to come forward again. So sharing your ideas, being more intentional, sharing your voice, your leadership, stepping into roles of sharing your wisdom with the world is very powerful at this time. Then on July 21st, we've got the full moon in Uttarashada in Capricorn. So the moon in Capricorn and that Saturn energy there can be a little heavy sometimes. So around this time, July 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, moon's going to move into connection with Saturn as well. It's a good time to lay low a bit and not do anything too risky or tenuous, like starting conflicts, things like that. It's a good time for facing internal challenges like meditation processes, journaling processes, not so much external, right? The moon is our mind and emotions. Saturn is the teacher of difficult lessons. So there's some important life lessons to come up around July 21st about what we are really convicted about, what we really care about. You know, Tarashada is this very strong energy that can persevere and penetrate through any obstacle that we really set our mind to. It's a very resilient energy. So if there is something that requires a lot of challenge for yourself mentally and emotionally, it's a good time to do that work on an internal level, not so much externally. I would not recommend getting into big conflicts or trying to handle some big conflict on these days around the 21st to 25th. So do the internal work though, of where is the block, where's the obstacle, where's the opportunity to grow, and celebrate where you've grown over the last month from this time. And then on July 31st, Venus moves into Leo for 23 days. So the end of the month, we got Venus moving into Leo with Mercury there. Venus, again, the planet of beauty, love, passion, relationships, romance. In Leo, this exciting, passionate energy ruled by the sun, and the sun's in Cancer. So just a great month into August as well for emotional connection in your relationships and emotional expression in your art, and stepping into roles of leadership and authority and owning your power and stepping out into the world through your marketing, any sort of work that you do in the world, and learning about things that help you understand yourself. The sun is the soul indicator, and all this Leo energy, all this sun energy this month, and the Kundalini energy of Rahu brings this energy to really understanding yourself. So doing work like astrology, tarot, occult studies, tantric work to understand the deeper parts of yourself is very favorable throughout this month and into August as well. And this is the time where I'll be promoting and offering my Vedic Astrology Mentorship Program. So that's a great way to understand your essence and yourself, whether working with me or reading books. Learning astrology over the next 2 months is a very favorable time for that, especially. And doing things that light you up, that put you into roles of opportunities to share. Public speaking is very favorable in this time as well, into August. And sharing your ideas more with the world. Maybe it's a podcast or a YouTube channel, or just sharing with friends and having social time. Very good social energy throughout this month as well. So that's our look at July 2024. Again, look where the signs are in your chart to see. It's like if you have Leo in your first house, you're a Leo rising, and you've got Venus and Mercury going there this month. So those energies are coming to your sense of self. And you can go back to the house episodes in the archives to hear what each house represents for you. And that's a quick look at July 2024. If you'd like to share this podcast with a friend, I think it's more fun to learn astrology with friends, learn their rising and moon sign, and share ideas, share notes, share what you're learning about each other. And leave an honest review on Apple Podcast, and that helps people find the podcast as well. And I look forward to sharing more with you next time on the Quiet Mind Astrology Podcast.